And between the All-Stars finale and the Evil Never Dies opener, only one short was made, called Sketch Friend. The thumbnail contains mini toes and mini sketchpad. The short lasts 1 minute and 57 seconds, which was longer than the Daily Archie Show 5, and shorter than Call of Cobalt 3 and Revenge of Toast 3. The short was released in July 11, 2023. Early into the short, Toast Mini and Sketchpad Mini were seen watching BFDI 20. No competitors appeared, but the only contestant that appeared other than Toast and Sketchpad Mini was Black Plane. The first episode of Evil Never Dies is called Cries Under the Red Skies, and it premiered on August 5, 2023. It was released to members earlier in the day. The thumbnail contains Computer and Evil Computer. The episode lasts 4 minutes and 18 seconds, which is longer than Beach Battle 5 and Beach Battle 9, and shorter than Beach Battle 7. A sad scene turned out to be the intro, which is unexpected, and the episode started off with a singer of the All-Stars finale. In the second half of the episode, Evil Computer Supreme kills Computer. This starts the reign of Evil Computer. Episode 1 ends abruptly. Mason Bozich is credited for voicing Ita in Magma Bucket, and Sananda is credited for voicing Koz. Episode 2 is called All the Time in the World, and the thumbnail contains card Water Bottle and Evil Cigar. The episode was released on August 10, 2023. The episode lasts 6 minutes and 2 seconds, which is just as long as Beach Battle 4. This makes Evil Never Dies 2 the longest Evil Never Dies episode. This episode is still longer than the entirety of Real Life Battle and shorter than the entirety of the Daily Object Show. Evil Computer Supreme attempts to create an object show but fails as everyone's dead. After 2 minutes and 10 seconds, Plus, Volcano, and Car make their first appearance outside of T-DOS Mini. At the start of the season, the Tiny Tentacles were completely redesigned to be distinct from one another. Various contestants travel back in time to save Computer, and the episode ended abruptly. Satomi is credited for voicing Car, Barbie is credited for voicing Volcano, 111 Roblox is credited for voicing Plus. I found out that Evil Never Dies 2 has 6 minutes and 3 seconds, and the next episode has 6 minutes and 2 seconds. This still makes both of them shorter than the Daily Object Show. The thumbnail contains Computer and Blood Bag, and the episode was released on August 15, 2023. The contestants traveled back in time to when Cobalt was fighting the other super objects for the pillar. The other 4 objects reveal themselves as Aqua, Tree, Storm, and Fireball. The episode ended in a cliffhanger as soon as Evil Computer's puppets returned to the 200 years before. Chortle is credited for voicing Aqua, Griffin Weber is credited for voicing Fireball, Braden Whiteside is credited for voicing Storm, and Miss Boneyard was credited for voicing Tree. Episode 4 is called As the World Caves In, and the thumbnail contains Evil Computer, Meatball, and Tablet Pen. The episode was released on August 30, 2023, but it was released the previous day for members. The episode lasts 10 minutes and 46 seconds, which is longer than Call of Cobalt and shorter than Daily Dash. This makes Evil Never Dies 4 the longest Evil Never Dies episode so far. Evil Computer recovered and trapped the contestants he killed, but Tablet Pen was among them, so he managed to escape. This time the intro starts to get glitchy. Various never-before-seen contestants appeared that episode. Evil Computer keeps crushing opposition like it's weak, but Computer becomes a super object. Episode 4 ended abruptly, but the text said to be concluded instead of to be continued. Toast and Nito was credited for voicing Toast Mini. Taffy Marzi was credited for voicing Onion. Saffron was credited for voicing Airplane. Episode 5 is the finale, and the final episode of the entire series. The episode is called Showdown for a New World, and the thumbnail contains Computer and Evil Computer. The episode was a live premiere, and it premiered on October 20, 2023. The episode lasts 32 minutes and 2 seconds, which is just as long as Mafioso Mayhem. But this is still longer than Daily Dash and shorter than All Stars. Evil Computer revives 6 villains and places them in different styles. And surprisingly, after a very long and epic battle, the winner of the battle is Evil Computer. About a minute later, Computer is struck by lightning and reincarnated as a ghost. Computer then vanquishes Evil Computer once and for all and descends into the astral plane. Evil is killed off once and for all, and Lava Bucket and Water Bottle finally get married. Scat, Sketchpad, and Lava Bucket were 3 of the 15 contestants in Full Objects. It was planned to have 15 contestants, 3 episodes, and all of them having quintuple eliminations. Airplane was also a contestant here, and the show was cancelled before the opener could even be finished, and the wiki says it was unrelated to the Daily Object Show. Army Objects, however, is an official spin-off. The full season lasts 5 minutes and 55 seconds, which is longer than Beach Battle 6 and Beach Battle 8, and shorter than Real Life Battle. The first episode is called So Excited I Could Explode. The thumbnail contains Daria and an unknown character. The episode lasts 1 minute and 26 seconds, which is just as long as Daily Dash 5. This is still longer than Blood Night Hauntings and shorter than Call of Cobalt 4 and All Stars 4. The episode was released in April Fool's 2023. It was initially meant to be a joke season, but turned into a spin-off. The winner of the competition will get a job token, but the host is an unknown object. The first contestant is Dari from Season 3. The second contestant is Emerald, who has never competed before. Emerald is quick-witted and easily pressed, but him selling the neutral edition for a small price shows his lack of intelligence. The third contestant is Lemon from Season 4. The fourth contestant is Shu from Season 6. And the last contestant is Sketchpad from Season 3. The first contest is to survive a minefield. The first person to cross the minefield and make it out unscathed will win the contest. Everyone but Sketchpad explodes, and Sketchpad wins the contest. The voting style is unspecified, but none of the comments are obvious votes, so it is likely a poll. Fusion Animations confirmed it was not Season 9. And thanked Alan for conceptualizing the series. The host name was not revealed, but is confirmed to be a relative of Computer in the description. Episode 2 is called How to Safely Use a Firearm, and the thumbnail contains Shu and an unknown contestant. The episode lasts 1 minute and 26 seconds, which is just as long as Army Objects 1 and Daily Dash 5. With that start of the elimination time, the host claims that Lemon is eliminated. And he is correct. Lemon was kind of a jerk in the Daily Object Show, so he had to go. The total number of votes wasn't revealed, so I had to calculate. And according to my calculations, the total number of votes is 3,075. The second contest is a headshot of dummy. The first person to do so wins the contest. At the end of the contest, Emerald's glyph puts everyone off guard, but the host gives Shu the win, putting the other 3 up for elimination. The voting style is specified, but the voting time is not. The description doesn't reveal the host's name. The episode was released in April 4, 2023. Episode 3 is called What is Your Name? And the thumbnail contains Sketchpad and the host saying, "What is my name?" The episode lasts 1 minute and 49 seconds, which is longer than Battlefield Soul Mayhem 3 and shorter than the Daily Object Show 5. This makes Army Objects 3 the longest Army Objects episode on record. The host wants to eliminate Emerald for not knowing his name, but announces Emerald is the first person safe anyway without starting the elimination time. So now it's down to Diary and Sketchpad. 793 votes have been counted so far. The host announces Sketchpad is the last one safe, but eliminates him instead. This means the total number of votes is 2,785. I don't exactly know what happened here. Sketchpad calls the host military computer, but the host indirectly acts like that's not his name. Before the intro, the host said that the third contest will be the hardest one yet. The third contest is across the barbed wire. The first person to do so will win immunity. Emerald teams up with Shu, but uses him to his advantage. The host sarcastically calls Emerald his favorite and gives Emerald the win, putting Diary and Shu up for the final elimination. The host reveals his name is Targetti. Episode 4 is the finale, and the thumbnail contains 8 unknown characters. The episode lasts 2 minutes and 21 seconds, which is longer than Call of Cobalt 5 and shorter than TLS Mini again. Episode 3 was released in April 7, 2023, and episode 4 was released in May 5, 2023. This episode was labeled the finale even though there should be 5 episodes. We got 3,158 votes, and because only 2 people are for elimination, only 1 person is safe. And that safe person just so happens to be Diary, with 1,248 votes. Despite Diary preferring to be called a journal, he is still being spared. And she didn't get enough sympathy. Instead of putting Diary and Emerald for winner's vote, Targetti starts the final contest, which is to defeat Grenade. Grenade, Emerald, and Diary fall off a cliff. And Grenade explodes, killing Diary, but sending Emerald back to the top of the cliff, meaning Emerald is the winner of Army Objects. Stay tuned for the Daily Object Show viewer voting.